Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Murder Metal Mayhem here for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds, which you guys know is 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or it's free. And no one on YouTube is going to give you a deal like that. But we'll see how this one plays out. Now, don't forget, real quick, please like the video. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and comment with your thoughts and ideas. It helps the video get out there to more people. Now, I just passed 15,000, so thank you very much. And let's shoot for the next hurdle, which I think would be 20,000. So let's do it. Now, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'll be giving my thoughts and ideas about the case. I'm not saying anybody's guilty of anything. I'm just voicing my opinion, and everything I say is alleged. Now, when it comes to the case of the Idaho 4, there are still things popping as the community does a deep dive into the released documents from law enforcement. Now, I had a viewer comment on the last video that I did, which was Nelly B2434. And I wanted to thank her for the idea for this video. She mentioned in her comment, quote, "What if Brett Payne was set up?" End quote. And she went on to say that, his time in the military, may have, made him compliant. And if somebody above him or a bigger fish, was pulling the strings and making him do stuff maybe he didn't want to do. Who knows, right? I thought that was a very interesting idea, and one that I had kind of considered, but from a different lens. And I'd like to, I liked her idea better, actually. So I'm considering, this is just let's talk about it. Now, we know that Payne had only 2 or 3 years in the police department there in Moscow, not with another department prior to that. Before that, he was with the 82nd Airborne as, I believe, an MP, which is, of course, military police. And he did a tour over in the Middle East. Now, I'm definitely not one to criticize those who serve the country. I know I ran into this when I talked about Brent Kopacka, who ironically was also in the 82nd Airborne at a different time. But that also doesn't mean that I'm not going to ignore the facts, and I refuse to just back down on the subject. I'm a disabled vet, so I guess it gives me the right, as if anybody gives anybody the right, to talk about a person in the military doing something that may not be on the up and up. Now, what if his lack of experience on a civilian police force as a new detective makes any sense? I mean, that seems very strange. And this would be his first murder investigation. And I always wondered, why would Moscow PD put someone with so little experience on a case with this magnitude? It really just baffles my mind. It really does. Why didn't the state police or even the FBI put someone at the head of the investigation? If you search the name Dustin Blaker, Google said he is the lead investigator on this case. And that seems odd to me because Payne no longer works for the department. Maybe that's why it said that, but the case is considered closed. So, I'm confused. It's almost like Brett Payne doesn't exist anymore. Now, I heard a rumor that Payne was involved with a company that specialized in scrubbing the internet of pics and information if somebody wants to pay to have that done. I also heard that he was tight with Detective Tolleson of the Idaho State Police, who was embroiled in a mess over the Dr. Moore case in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, years before, and was allegedly involved in intimidating witnesses and altering timestamps on video to make Dr. Moore appear guilty. Absolutely horrible. Now, thankfully, those charges against Dr. Moore were dropped. But go ahead and Google Detective Gary Tolleson with the Idaho State Police and see if you come up with anything, because I can't find any pictures or anything on that guy other than references to the case I just mentioned. Now, is that true that Tolleson and Payne, were, maybe friends, and somehow or another, that's why they both appear to conveniently be out of, anything you could find online for either of them. Supposedly, Payne went to work at the University of Idaho there in Moscow. And was that part of the deal? That seemed kind of like a quiet behind the scenes thing. Like, you make a mess of this investigation, so you look like the idiot, and we just act like we don't know what's going on, small town cop thing. And then Payne just kind of disappears into the ether. If you search the U of I employees list, his name doesn't come up. And I've tried multiple times with different methods, and it's like he's a ghost. Now, what about the others who no longer work for the Moscow PD, right? Follow the money. Chief Lanier retires days into the investigation. We know that Chief Fry left soon after that. And Payne and Rosenthal are also gone from the department. I'm sure there's others. Those are the ones that I knew of off the top of my head. So why such a shakeup after this big case? It just seems a bit too convenient. I mean, I get that people change careers, but if they were proud in closing the case of the Idaho 4, then why not rise in the ranks with that on your resume? Why not write a book about the experience and do the talk show circuit and speak to kids in high school about a career in law enforcement and all of that stuff? There's none of that at all. No one left to chat about the old times when some random reporter comes sniffing around to look for information. You just never know when something gets found that blows this thing completely wide open. I know that's wishful thinking, I guess. It's been far too easy for the Moscow PD to play dumb in this case. If anyone brings up a question about it, they can respond with, "We can't talk about an ongoing investigation." As far as I know, the investigation's over. Your guy's in prison. Let's see everything. We don't need to hold anything back. There's no reason to hold anything back unless you're trying to hide something. Did they dupe Payne into this role of lead investigator, or did he negotiate a better deal for himself and ride off into the sunset? I guess either's possible. So what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. It definitely helps the channel. Lets me see what your ideas are. Like I said, thanks to Nellie for the idea for this one. Now, don't miss the next Serial Killer Story Hour. That's Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. I do those every week. And next, I'm going to be doing the case of Carla Faye Tucker, who murdered 2 men with a pickaxe in Texas in 1983. It's a brutal one. She was executed in Texas, and I'm working on a guest who was a corrections officer on female death row in Texas while she was there. So that should be really cool if that works out. Check out the link in the episode description for our killer merchandise page. We have shirts, hats, pillows, tapestries, phone cases, stickers, magnets, and anything else you could imagine. Tons of good designs in there, from our basic logo to the barbed wire logo, and a line of Idaho 4 designs that I came up with, and even a cool Christmas one that you got to check out. Santa in a Murder Metal Mayhem shirt throwing up the horns. So it's cool. So go check that out. And they're running a sale this weekend. Everything's 35% off in the store. I'd like to thank the membership here on the channel. That's the Horns High Club, Mayhem Squad as well. Great supporters. And I really, truly appreciate it. And I also appreciate every one of you that watches these videos with us. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I've heard it all before. It's just the outro and I'm out of here. If you did, you wouldn't be loving this sick, weird groove. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment to help us get out to more. Smash that like and subscribe before you go. You must be some high achiever to watch this whole thing. Copyright 2025 by Horns High Productions.